Well, hi, this is Jay Arthur. Are you still using old-fashioned line, bar, and pie charts? Most companies are, but they're just not all that useful. You know, you've upgraded your phone. You started out with rotary dial phones, then you went to push-button phones, and then you got one of those early flip phones, right, with the big long antenna on it, but now you're probably all driving a smartphone. You've upgraded your phone. Why not your charts? Charting has not changed in the last 20 years. So you might consider some smart charts, performance charts, histograms, Pareto charts, because these charts actually went to college and took statistics. Where line bar and pie charts just aren't that smart, they're kind of dumb, they can provide you with some information, but they can't provide you with insights for action. They can't detect the patterns of what's going on in the performance of your business. So what is a performance chart? Well, a performance chart, we calculate an average of what's going on, and then we use that average to calculate standard deviations, which give us these upper and lower control limits. And 99.7% of your data points should fit within those limits. Only 3 out of 1,000 should be outside of those control limits. What you might notice here is that we might want to change the process, and so we make an improvement. You can see the points in red on the right-hand side. Downward trend, we've made some improvements. Now I find that far too many companies waste a lot of time and energy on their line charts looking at, well, why did this number go up and why did that number go down? Why did sales go up? Why did they go down? Blah, blah, blah. But if you use a performance chart, it will tell you that your process is behaving normally, right? All those points on the left-hand side are in blue, which means it's stable, predictable, you can count on it. You may not like it, but there's nothing to do to change. All right, so why do we want to use performance charts? Well, because of these control limits, we can detect unstable conditions, things that should only happen 3 times out of 1,000. And they encourage you to then go look at those behaviors, those patterns, and detect, is there something odd going on in your process? And with ChartSmart Excel, it'll highlight all of these for you in red. Now, what's a Pareto chart? Well, a Pareto chart is a sorted bar chart, basically, and we add a cumulative line chart on here that calculates the total percentage. Remember Pareto's rule, 20% of what you do causes over 80% of the mistakes, errors, waste, rework, and lost profit. Well, a Pareto chart helps you illuminate that pattern. And anytime there's mistakes and errors, there's always a Pareto pattern. There's always something going on that you can detect with a Pareto chart. But it's often hidden if you try and look at it in a bar chart. Now in this example, you can see that folded flaps, bent flaps, and carton will not open are each 20% or more of the total types of mistakes and errors. And together they combine to be 67.5% of the total types of errors. So we could take each one of these and systematically go through and find out how to fix each one of those problems. That's the power of a Pareto chart. And I also find that sometimes you have to drill down a little bit more. I call this the 450 rule. 4% of your business causes over half the mistakes, errors, waste, rework, delays, defects, and deviation. That's one step out of every 25. And so what you want to do is use Pareto charts to really pinpoint the thing that you need to fix and then go fix that and nothing else. Most of your business is fine. Only a handful of things are really causing you grief. Let's use Pareto charts to go solve those. Now, what's a histogram? Well, a histogram measures variation. How far are you from the customer's target value? And so we have an upper specification limit and a lower specification limit. And with those, we can calculate capability metrics, what are known as CP and CPK. And usually if those are above 1.33, you're doing pretty good. Now this is especially true in manufacturing where you see we want things centered, so you don't want your piston to be too big or too small. But in a service environment, we want to track turnaround times. Because how long do customers want to wait? 0, all right? So we want our times to be as close to 0 as possible. We might only have an upper specification limit. Right? So if you're in a hospital and you need thrombolytics to make sure that your stroke doesn't cause major damage, you need to get that done in 60 minutes or less. Well, guess what? Time to thrombolytics is something we could measure with a histogram. or any kind of turnaround time anywhere. And so why do we want to use histograms? Well, if we're off target, we want to center the process and bring it on target. We want to get to what the customer wants. And then if there's too much variation, if it's too widespread, we want to reduce the spread and move it to the center. And so histograms are going to help us show that change dramatically and pretty straightforwardly. And ChartSmart Excel makes this easy. So all you need is some data, and you select that with your mouse, click on one of our buttons, and get a chart. It's that simple. The Performance Chart Wizard, the histograms, Pareto Charts, all easily and effortlessly done just by selecting some data and clicking a button. So that's ChartSmart Excel. Are you going to be chart smart? Are you going to move away from line, bar, and pie charts and start to embrace performance charts, Pareto charts, histograms, and use these tools for data mining, analysis, and visualization so that you can tell a bulletproof improvement story with your data? I'm Jay Arthur. Take the next step. Go from your old flip phone to a smartphone. Go from your old line charts to performance charts, Pareto charts, and histograms. And I think you'll discover that it's a lot easier to manage and improve your business for flawless performance.